Editing Rose here. So I'm going to keep this brief because this is an addendum to a video that I have already filmed and essentially talked about that particular subject there because it was a book haul, but I've had to make significant edits to the video that you're about to see because there is an ongoing boycott against St. Martin's Press. And considering the controversy has not even begun to even be remotely resolved in terms of things, I am taking off any St. Martin's Press titles from being featured on the channel, being like in terms of whether I pick them up or not. I'm just going to do a hard boycott at this point because it doesn't seem like the imprint is taking the concerns seriously with respect to certain developments in terms of things. So I'm going to keep it pretty brief in terms of the overarching explanation of what's going on. So St. Martin's Press has been under an active marketing boycott where readers are not talking about the titles, readers are not reviewing the books. They can still buy the books, but they the organizers have asked people not to discuss those titles because of ongoing allegations of anti-Palestinian rhetoric, Islamophobia, among other things, with a specific employee that works with the company and works in marketing. Essentially, like, the majority of that information is contained in the link down below if you're interested in seeing what the boycott is organizing. But due to this boycott and due to the unprofessional response of St. Martin's Press in terms of addressing those allegations, I'm basically not reviewing any St. Martin's Press or the imprints under them until further notice as far as things go. So we're just going to take that at, because it very much seems that they're not taking anything seriously in terms of addressing the issues here. And then on top of that, there's been a recent controversy with them with respect to sending inappropriate, unsolicited materials in their book box associated with one of their marketing things. That for me was the final straw. Like, I was like, okay, there's something going on here in terms of things where they are not prioritizing the safety and respecting boundaries and audience with respect to their marketing in terms of, like, not causing harm to readers and reviewers in terms of things. And for me, that was the bottom line. That was the last straw. I'm personally going to not pick up a single St. Martin's Press title in terms of buying it, checking out from the library until this issue is resolved, because it has gotten out of hand. And that's the way I feel in terms of things. I know there have been several people in the bookish community who are taking this seriously as well and have been actively doing the boycott, not mentioning any titles. I've showcased some of the titles just to let people know in terms of saying, like, this is the reason why I'm not talking about this book, but I still have it in my collection. I'm still supporting the author, but at some point something has got to give. And lacking taking responsibility for actively causing harm is something that really upsets me to a point where it's just like, okay, there has to be something that I can do to change this behavior in terms of things. And so as a consumer of books, as a lover of books, as someone who values being able to respect people of different backgrounds, as well as being able to get consent and prioritize consent instead of just assuming consent about things that are can be considered harmful if not being able to opt in or opt out. I know in terms of things this is unacceptable, and then having no kind of accountability or even an address or even an apology, just really it can't continue. And so I will not be supporting that, essentially. So for this respective video, I'm omitting those titles, so I had to significantly edit down some of the books that, because they were under St. Martin's Press and its imprints, including Wednesday Books and several other ones. I will put an infographic up here for your reference in terms of what those imprints are. And we're just going to go ahead and go into this book haul video without further ado. So that's kind of the short version of it, and let's go ahead and dive in. Alrighty, testing to make sure everything is good to go. So this is going to be a follow-up from my last video. Hi everyone, my name is Rose, also known as TA Summers. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a book haul. So along the heels of my last video, I mentioned that towards the end of July, I took a birthday trip with my twin sister to Toronto, Canada, and I was able to pick up a very sizable book haul, and I wanted to video for its own purposes to be able to highlight the books that I picked up. I also took a recent trip to Barnes & Noble as well and picked up a haul there, so this is going to be a combination of two different book haul videos, and I'm just going to make this my August book haul video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. So first off, I want to kind of highlight some of the books that I was able to get with respect to Barnes & Noble, since that will be the first thing that I highlight in terms of things. So very much in a very different array of books that I was able to pick up from Barnes & Noble from a standard trip in terms of things. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and dive in. First one that I want to highlight is an adult romance. This is special edition from Harlequin. And I don't think I've showcased this on the channel before, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it. This is A Beauty and the Beast by Michelle Lindo Rice. I have read from Michelle Lindo Rice before, and I'm excited to be able to get to this respective book following along with these respective characters. I think this had to do with a tragic fire left Junior Prom Queen Eden Tempest orphaned and scarred inside and out. She's town recluse, isolated, mysterious and emotionally guarded, the complete opposite of Mason Powers, TV's most famous renovator, and it kind of showcases their relationship. So I'm really excited to be able to pick this one up. Next one is a YA, I believe, a thriller. This is from an author I have read multiple times before, so when I saw this, I knew that I wanted to pick it up and definitely give it a shot. This is Katie Cotugno's Liar's Beach. This is the cover for your reference, and I believe this is about a group of students who are on Martha's Vineyard at a prep school. So it should, and there's like a night of partying, and there's an accident that occurs. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what this book has to offer and give you my thoughts about it once I have that chance to pick it up. So the next two books are considered, I believe, middle grade. And I knew that I wanted to pick these up for my collection. They were on sale at the Barnes & Noble as part of a buy one, get one on 50% off. So I told myself, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get these two books. And I believe the sequel to this respective series is going to come out at some point, but I'm not 100% sure when. If I do know that, then I'll just put a note on the video for your reference in terms of things. But I am very familiar with the works of Sharon Draper. And I've probably, I feel like I've talked about Sharon Draper on the channel before, but if I have not, this is definitely a series I wanted to read like completely in full, for the channel and be able to give my thoughts on. And I think the first book is being adapted into a movie. So the first book that I want to feature is Out of My Mind by Sharon M. Draper. This is the cover up for your reference. And then the follow-up is called Out of My Heart by Sharon Draper. So this is the follow-up to Out of My Mind, and then the new book is going to be called Out of My Dreams, and I'll just put the cover up for your reference if the cover is available for your reference. But I'm planning on reading all 3 of these books and giving my thoughts about it on the channel. Another middle grade book. This is an author that I am very familiar with, but I have not read this respective book in terms of things. And the premise of it really appealed to me in terms of being able to see the story of a young boy who goes on a harrowing journey of self-discovery, and also with respect to his family. I love the cover. I love the premise of it. This is The Door of No Return by Kwame Alexander. This is the cover up for your reference. And I think it has another cover associated with it. I'll put that up for your reference as well, but I knew I wanted to get the paperback version for it. So I'm very excited to have this in my collection and give my thoughts about it. This next book is one that I knew that I was going to get because I've checked it out at the library multiple times. I have not had the chance to read more than part of it, so I knew that I wanted to add it to my collection just because I knew that I really like this author, and I know that I'm going to likely give a review of this and give my thoughts on it on the channel. This is We Don't Swim Here by Vincent Torrado, and this is the cover up for your reference. It is available in paperback, and I'm glad to have added it to my collection. So as soon as I possibly can, I will definitely give a review on this. It has been featured in multiple videos on my channel. It's just I have not had the opportunity to read it in full. So definitely looking forward to this one. This next book is also YA. This is from an author that I've heard of before, but I think it's been a while since I've picked her up. This is Anna's A Step from Heaven. This is the cover up for your reference. It is a finalist for the National Book Award, and it is also the Michael L. Prince Award for Excellence in Young Adult Literature. Very, very short read. I am definitely giving this a shot. I believe this is a coming of age story about a immigrant girl who is trying to adjust to her new life. I am definitely excited being able to read this and give you my thoughts about it. Next book is one that I have read from the author before. I've read from this author before. This is considered adult self-help. I don't know if I've actually reviewed his books on the channel before, but this is from a Zen Buddhist teacher who has written like multiple books in terms of things. I think I have read The Things You Can See Only When You Slow Down before, but I don't know if I've given a review on the channel before. I know I've written a review about it on my blog before, but this is one of the follow-ups to his work. This is When Things Don't Go Your Way, Zen Wisdom for Difficult Times. And this is the cover up for your reference. I'm excited to be able to read this and get my thoughts about it, and I'll let you know when I'm done. This particular book I did not get from Barnes & Noble, but I did pre-order it, and it finally arrived. It literally just came out not very long ago in August, and I'm very excited to read more Native American literature from Native American authors, and this is a Native American romance, which I am very excited to be able to read. This is The Truth According to Ember by Dana Kanava. This is the cover up for your reference. I had originally applied to get a galley of this. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be, so I told myself, okay, I'm going to definitely pre-order this and patiently wait for it to come in, and it finally came in. So I'm very, very excited to be able to read this and give my thoughts about it. So we shall see how it goes, and I do adore the cover. In terms of, this is the kind of illustrated cover that I love and the representation I love. So I am definitely excited to be able to read this for myself. And I think the last book for the Barnes & Noble haul, this was something that I wanted to pick up for research purposes for a series that I'm writing in terms of things. So, and it was discounted at my local Barnes & Noble. This is The Element Encyclopedia of Magical Creatures by John and Caitlin Matthews. This is the cover up for your reference. And I did get it for a discounted price in terms of things. So it's just like this whole encyclopedia of different magical creatures and things like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to being able to use it as a reference for my research and give my thoughts about it once I'm finished going through it. But definitely like glad to have it in my collection. All right, so I think that this next bit is the last part of this book haul where I was able to pick up books from Canada. I went to the Indigo bookstore, which is located in the Eaton Center in Toronto, Canada. And it is a huge, two-level bookstore that my sister and I were able to go into and be able to browse all the bookshelves, like for anywhere from young adult to middle grade to not adult fiction, adult nonfiction, and things like that. So I got a total of 6 books, and I think like all of these are ones that are not in my collection, and I'm happy to be able to say that like I've added them into my collection now. So I'm just going to dive into it. First one is a book of a series of essays, I believe, like in terms of this author's work. And I saw that it was a mass market paperback and a very short read, so I knew that when I saw it, I knew I wanted to pick it up. This is Maya Angelou's Wouldn't Take Nothing for My Journey Now. This is the cover up for your reference. And this is the back of it for your reference as well. I'm excited to... I've never read this one, to be honest with you, in terms of things, so it was new to me and I knew I wanted to pick it up. So I am happy to be able to give my thoughts about this when I have the opportunity to do so. Next one is from a series that I've had in my collection for the longest time. I believe this is the very last book in this respective series. I do plan on reading the series from the beginning and giving a full review of the series on this channel eventually. I'm not 100% sure when that will be, but I do love Kevin Hearn's writing, and I love urban fantasy. That's my bread and butter. I love sci-fi and fantasy. Urban fantasy is one of my favorites as well. And this is the last book of the Iron Druid Chronicles. This is Scourged by Kevin Hearn, and this is the cover up for your reference. This is the mass market paperback edition, and I've been trying to collect all of the mass market paperback editions. I know that they have been reissued in trade paperbacks, but there's just something about the mass market paperback cover versions and the representation of the character that I actually really like with this. So I'm excited to be able to read this from the beginning and give my thoughts about it. I think the very first book of it is called, if I remember correctly, Hounded. Yeah, so the very first book in this respective series is called Hounded, and this will be the cover up for your reference if you're looking to track that. But I'm hoping to do a project to where like I can read all of the books that are in this respective series and give my thoughts about it on the channel. Next book is another book series that I definitely want to be able to review on the channel. This is also adult fantasy, and this is from an author that I'm very familiar with as well. This is Anne Bishop's The Queen's Price. This is a Black Jewels novel. This is the cover for your reference. I don't think this is the latest installation of this respective series. I think the Black Jewels series starts with Daughter of the Blood, which I'll put a cover up for your reference, and then I think the latest book in the series, I'll put the cover up for your reference. But this is like the next to the next to the latest book that is offered for this respective series. I do plan on reading it from the beginning. We'll see how that project goes. I don't know when it's going to be, but we shall see how that project goes, and I'll give my thoughts on each of the books as I get through them. But there's quite a few books in this respective series. I think it's 13 books if I remember correctly, and this is the 12th book. So we'll see how that goes. And then the next 3 books are all YA, and they're new to my collection. One of them is a trade paperback of a book that I had picked up from the library before, but I decided to go ahead and add it to my collection instead of having it as a library read, because I kept picking it up, it kept getting requested, and I was never able to finish it. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the first book that I want to highlight is a hardcover book that was new to me. And this looks like it will be a murder mystery that occurs in the Woods. This is Bad Like Us by Gabriella Lepore. This is the cover up for your reference. I actually really love this cover, and this is definitely my type of mystery thriller vibes in terms of things. So a bunch of teenagers in the woods, someone gets murdered, bad things happen. So we shall see how this goes, and I am excited to be able to read it and get my thoughts about it. Next is the book that I was talking about that I've picked up from the library before. I decided to go ahead and pick it up for my collection since it was available in paperback. This is a YA fantasy. This is Spice Road by Maya Ibrahim. This cover up for your reference. Beautiful, beautiful cover and beautiful premise as well. I am excited to be able to read this and give my thoughts about it, just to keep it short because I know that I've showcased this on the channel before. And then finally is a book that is a follow-up that I was looking for the original book that was in this respective series. I believe the very first book in this series is called Walking in Two Worlds, and I'll put a cover up for your reference. I couldn't find the first books up, but I was able to find the follow-up book when I was in Toronto, Canada at Indigo Books. So this is the follow-up to that. Definitely one that I really want to be able to pick up and read and give my thoughts about it, but I will try to see if I can find Walking in Two Worlds before I pick this one up. This is The Everlasting Road by Webe Canoe. So, and I'm hoping that I pronounced the author's name correctly there. So, and if I don't, I'll just put an addendum on here, like for reference. So this is one that I am glad to have added to my collection, and I am excited to be able to add this to my TBR and get my thoughts about it once I have the opportunity to be able to read Walking into Worlds first and then get to this one. So that is it for my respective TBR video. A lot of books added to my collection, and all of them are exciting to me to be able to get the opportunity to be able to read and also add to my collection. I really enjoyed my trip to Canada and being able to see the array of books there and being able to just kind of like have the opportunity to find some things that I could add to my collection. So that's it, and thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be informed of when I post new videos. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next video.